Welcome to the Lynn Spotlight, Lynn's talk show featuring some great people who are doing big things in Lynn. I'm your host, Gregory Haas. Today I'm shining a light on a rising star in Lynn, O.P. Miller. He's an author, actor, and producer. Before we move forward with your current projects, let's take a step back. Tell us about your background.
Well, I grew up in Everett, went through the school system there. I moved to Lynn about 15 years ago, and I worked in the restaurant business for a little while, and one day I decided to get my hand in acting and graduated from an acting school out in Newton, J.C. Casablanca. Done all right, a few independent films, a couple of extra jobs, and one day I decided to try my hand at writing books, and I have a couple here. As you can see, I'm working on a trilogy.
Sure. Okay, no, that's great. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about your books.
Well, I was inspired. I met a young woman on a New Year's Eve. The next day, we went for a walk in the Lynn Woods, and she given me a little troll, and I promised to write her a nice short poem about the trolls in her Lynn Woods that she lives near. And one thing led to another, and I ended up with 1,008 rhythmic poetic sets. You can see the first book there, Keeper of the Trolls, Escape to Lynn Woods. And then, obviously, things were working out, so I started on a second one that's Keeper of the Trolls, Curse of the Salem Willow. Actually deals with the wrongly accused witches of the Salem witch trials.
Wow.
And I'm working on a third now, which will be about 2,000 sets.
Very cool.
The third one will be titled Return to Denmark. They have to actually save the world in this one.
Wow.
Yes.
Excellent. So just going back here, so is this about Lynn? Does it include...
Yeah, the first book is regarding Lynn Woods.
Okay.
Starts out with the legends of the pirates and Thomas Veal and Dungeon Rock and all the landmarks. And it magically flips to modern times, and her massive collection of trolls magically come alive in the night, and as you can see in the title, they escape to Lynn Woods, and eventually someone finds the treasure. But it's not just silly little books about trolls. There's a message in it. There's humans in it and whatnot, and there's a backdrop of that. There's a lot of emotion in it. You know, there's a lot of feel-good stuff. There's a wedding in it. You know, there's a great Amber Alert in the first book.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's an exciting time for me. I was in a podcast, actually. Whites and Gooch can be heard on SoundCloud.
Very good.
Yeah, I'm doing very well with it.
Very good. Yeah. So is this, would you say it's a kid's book?
I call it a family book.
Family book.
I say it's good for ages 8 to 80. It's got large print, lots of colored photographs.
Wow.
You know, it's clean, good-natured fun, but it's not childish.
Right. Okay.
So it's good for all ages. Yeah, sure.
Because when I'm thinking poetry, some people might think Dr. Seuss. So.
Yeah. Well, actually, my first book, 1,008 rhythmic poetic sets, has more actual rhymes than all of Dr. Seuss's books combined, which is something to say in itself.
Very,
you know?
Very good. Now, where could people pick up these books?
They're both available on Amazon and Amazon Kindle.
Okay.
They're large 8x11 books.
Very good.
So they're more or less a coffee table piece. You can have it at your home. People come over, and it's kind of a wow factor when they see it and they pick it up. It's an attention grabber, yeah.
Absolutely. No,
Kids love it for sure, I tell you. Yeah?
Very good.
But young and old alike.
Yeah. No, excellent. How about future projects?
I'm anticipating doing a documentary on Lynn Woods.
Wow.
I've actually started to do some research. I want to start out with the history of it from beginning to the end up until present day. Right through from the actual part of Thomas Veal and the pirates and Dungeon Rock, and straight up through the Depression, and in the 70s and the 80s, a lot of homelessness, and then the drug addiction as well. Then in the 90s, the Friends of Lynn Woods comes along, and basically they have some fundraisers and they clean the park up, and it is what it is today. It's a very, very beautiful place. It's more or less an oasis in the middle of a city. It's actually the second largest municipal park in the United States. Some say it's not, some say it is, but in my documentary, we'll figure that out.
Okay. No, very good. Okay. Well, thank you. O.P. Miller, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Absolutely.
And
anytime.
Thank you so much. Very good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being. Thank you.